Many of the world's biggest companies have pledged to reach what's called net zero emissions in the coming decades, meaning they absorb as much carbon as they emit. But are they on track to fulfill those promises?
That's one of the stories we're following this morning in our series Climate Control, exploring how the climate crisis is changing policies and lifestyles around the world and trying to look at solutions. NBC News meteorologist Bill Karins is back with us again. Hey, Bill, we love when you join us again for a segment like this on the show. So this new study from two environmental watchdog groups looks at 25 of the biggest companies who they've made these net zero pledges. So we're talking household names, Amazon, Google, Nestle. What'd they find? Are they living up to these promises?
Yeah, well, this shouldn't surprise anyone. Now we have these pledges and commitments from nations and countries and also from all these corporations, and we can go and kind of analyze them and see, does it make sense? And, eventually we'll be able to say, are they actually doing it or not? So these two groups, the New Climate Institute and the Carbon Market Watch, they looked at 25 of the biggest companies in the world. We're talking Amazons, the Googles, the Walmarts, and they looked at their pledges and they said, okay, well, are they actually committing to what they should be to get to net zero? And this doesn't have to do with what they're emitting right now. This just has to do with their commitments. And the commitments are coming well short. They found that instead of net zero, the commitments are more like 40% of the 100% that would be needed to get to net zero. And they're saying that the headlines sound good from these companies, but their policies are vague and they're about 20 to 30 years out in the future. And a lot of them depend on what we call carbon offsets. That's like a lot of people saying that they'll plant trees or make forests to capture more carbon and not exactly reduce the carbon that's coming from them. So, Walmart was the one company that was commended for reducing their operations without actually relying on the carbon offset. So this shouldn't surprise anyone. We're still seeing emissions going up. So, the commitments, they're not holding a lot of water.
Bill, let's talk about solar. It's become much cheaper and more productive over the last decade. It's obviously going to be a big part of any clean energy solution. A new report identifies a massive space for these solar farms hiding in plain sight. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this one makes so much sense. It just made me wonder, why aren't we doing it 100%? Let me ask you guys, how many big box stores and malls do you think exist in the United States?
Oh, geez.
Bill,
I have no idea. 100,000.
You're infusing this segment with your quizzes as well.
It's 100,000. There's 100,000 big box stores.
Okay, Joe won a quiz.
I sort of mumbled it because I clearly wasn't sure.
There's 10,000 alone in California, and these just make so much sense because they're not obtrusive. You don't see them. They're on top of the buildings. You need a flat surface, and obviously you need direct sunlight. And the study actually went and looked. If we actually put solar on all 100,000, it would be the equivalent of powering 8 million homes, taking 11 million cars off the road. And something I didn't know was that some of the stores are already doing this. Apple, Amazon, Target, and IKEA are already starting to put solar on their roofs. And IKEA especially, they already have solar on 90% of its U.S. store locations. And I'll ask you one more quiz at the end of this one. Which stores do you think have the most square footage in the U.S.?
Was it IKEA?
I'm going to guess IKEA.
IKEA.
Walmart is number one with the most big box stores, and Target is number two. So, we'll see if that would be a good use of solar.
It's got to be IKEA.
Yes.
We don't know.
Repeat that again. I missed that. Hold on.
I said per store, it's got to be IKEA. Those places are ridiculously large.
Yes, they're huge. Like 3 football fields.
Exactly. All right. And finally, Bill, this is sort of a weird one about the smell of snow. I mean, we've got warming temperatures and everything's changing so much around us. What's with this?
Yeah, this one is not peer-reviewed science. There's no snow smell data that goes back decades. But a smell researcher, Johan Lundstrom, who's a professor of neuroscience, he's saying that the smell of snow is changing, and it's changing by region. I didn't even realize that snow had that much of a smell, but he says that, the snow in like New York or Cleveland or Colorado smells differently, and that with climate change, as it warms up, smells become more smelly is how things will get as the planet warms up. And he's saying that the snow absorbs molecules from the air, and that the smell of our snow is changing. That's his theory.
Oh.
Been wearing those masks, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to smell anything. That's true,
right.
But,
see?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to smell the New York snow more either.
No kidding,
yeah. The air around us. Okay, that's interesting. All right, thanks, Bill. We love the segment.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.